Is there really a difference between waiting in silence and chasing shadows? Both feel empty, like standing on the edge of a void, unsure if you should jump or step back into the dark. We tell ourselves that patience is a virtue, that if we just stand still long enough, the answers will come to us on their own. But the silence, it gets loud. It starts to echo with all the words we never said and the choices we never made. So we run. We chase after things that might not even be real, mirage after mirage, hoping one of them is water. We convince ourselves that motion means progress, that as long as we're moving, we're alive. But are we really living? What is the cost of this constant running? We trade our peace for a sense of direction that leads nowhere. It's an illusion. The shadow you chase is just a projection of the silence you're running from. Are we just running in circles, terrified of what we might find if we actually stopped and faced ourselves? Maybe the difference isn't in the action, but in the fear that drives it. The fear of being truly alone. It's a strange cycle. We know it's empty, yet somehow we still do it. The sun dips below the horizon, painting the Brooklyn skyline in deep hues of purple and gold. The city begins to hum with the electric rhythm of the night. My name is Ethan. To most, I'm just a shadow on the corner of 5th and Main, a street painter lost in the noise of Brooklyn. But this pavement, this is my studio. And every evening as the streetlights flicker to life, I begin my ritual. I don't paint the tourists, I don't paint the skyline. Every single night, my brush finds the same lines, the same curves. I start with the eyes, always the eyes. They were the first thing I noticed about her, and the last thing I see when I close mine. Her name is Claire, a name that tastes like rain and feels like a forgotten melody. The truth is simple, yet it weighs 1,000 pounds. I never truly had her. She was a moment, a passing season in my life. People walk by, they stop, they watch, they ask who she is. Is she your wife, they ask. Is she your muse? I usually just smile and keep painting. How do you explain that she is everything and nothing all at once? I memorize her features with every stroke. The way her hair fell across her shoulder, the tiny scar above her eyebrow. I never truly had her, but the tragedy isn't in the having. It's that I never truly let her go either. She lives in the charcoal dust on my fingers. She exists in the smell of turpentine and the damp Brooklyn air. Sometimes I paint her laughing. Sometimes she's looking away, distant, just like she was in the end. Some might call it obsession. I call it memory. It's my way of keeping the past alive, even when the present has moved on. The subway rattles overhead, a reminder that the world doesn't stop for a broken heart. It just keeps moving. But in this square of canvas, time stands still. Here, she doesn't leave. Here, she is always just a brushstroke away. I mix the colors of our memories. The blue of the shirt she wore that day. The gold of the afternoon sun we shared. Painting her isn't just about art. It's a conversation I'm still having with a ghost. A letter I write every night but never send. And when the portrait is done, for a fleeting second, I feel like I've found her again. Then the night ends. The illusion breaks. I have to pack up my things and walk back into a world where she doesn't exist. I'll sell the painting to a stranger tomorrow. They'll hang it on their wall, admiring the beauty, never knowing the pain. But that's okay, because tomorrow evening, when the sun goes down, I'll come back and I'll find her again. I'm Ethan, and this is my Brooklyn. They say that time is supposed to heal all wounds, that the sharp edges of the past eventually dull into nothingness. But I have found that to be a lie. The city changes every day. New buildings rise, old ones fall. but the past remains frozen in the architecture of my mind. Some memories don't fade. They simply wait in the shadows, ready to emerge when the lights go down. It catches me off guard when I least expect it. A drift of air on a crowded street, and suddenly I am transported back to that moment. Her perfume still lingers in his mind, sweet, haunting, and impossible to wash away. I try to escape the feeling by descending into the noise of the underground. But even there, amidst the screeching metal and the rushing crowds, she is present. It's in the sound of the wind pushing through the tunnels. Her laugh echoes between subway trains, a ghost of a sound that no one else can hear. Back on the surface, the sky mirrors the turmoil inside. The clouds are heavy, dark, and full of judgment. The pressure builds until it breaks. Thunder clashes above the skyline, shaking the glass and steel towers. In the sudden flash of white light, there are no shadows left to hide in. The mask slips. He feels exposed, naked before the truth of his own loss, unable to outrun the history that defines him. There is only one place left to go, one ritual that still makes sense in a world that has lost its meaning. The smell of turpentine and oil is the only air I can breathe. I pick up the brush. My hand trembles, but my resolve does not. I have to let it out before it consumes me. Every stroke is a memory. Every color is a feeling I cannot speak aloud. Red for the anger, blue for the sorrow, black for the nights without her. The storm rages on outside, and the memories refuse to leave. But I have my work. Still, he paints, and in the painting, he survives. 3 years, 1,095 days since the rain washed away the last of us. Time is a cruel sculptor. Tonight, the gallery opening in Manhattan is the culmination of all that pain. They call it a triumph. I call it a public autopsy of my heart. The room is filled with voices, champagne, and the hollow ring of success. Strangers stare at my grief on the walls and whisper about visceral texture and raw emotion. Then the air shifted. I didn't need to turn around to know. The atmosphere changed, like a sudden drop in pressure before a storm. Claire walks in. Not the girl from the subway anymore. She is successful, polished, terrifyingly different. A masterpiece of her own making. The crowd blurred into static. Across the room, our eyes met. A silent collision of two histories that had tried so hard to unwrite each other. She moved towards me, parting the sea of admirers effortlessly. Every step she took bridged the canyon of 3 years we'd put between us. She stopped, her voice cutting through the noise like a bell. "Is there a difference?" she asked softly. "Between meeting and parting. A riddle wrapped in a greeting." She always did know how to disarm me with a single sentence. My heart hammered against the ribs of my tuxedo. Ethan smiles. It's the mask I've perfected over these years. The armor of the successful artist. I answered her. "Both can feel beautiful," I said. "It depends which side of the soul you're hiding your wounds." She nodded, satisfied with the poetry of it. It sounded profound, it sounded healed, but it was just another layer of paint over the canvas. As she turned to look at the art, my art, her memory, the illusion shattered inside me. The gallery faded, the applause died. The suit, the fame, the time, none of it mattered. Beneath the polished surface, behind the smile, inside, he was still bleeding. That night, after the lights of the gallery faded and the voices turned to whispers, the real art began. The art of confession. Truth surfaced like wreckage from a submerged ship. She told me she had waited for months, She had a ticket to LA with my name written in invisible ink next to hers. She waited for me to be brave enough to ask. And I never believed I was enough. I measured my worth in sold canvases and critical acclaim, while she was measuring it in heartbeats. We were two statues trapped in stone of our own making. They both stayed silent. They both waited for a signal that never came, a tragedy of hesitation. And in that silence, we didn't just lose time. We didn't just lose moments. They both lost. We lost the version of ourselves that could have been happy together. I looked at her, really looked at her, and I realized something. The love I gave was whole, I said quietly. It wasn't perfect, but it was everything I had. What I received, I paused. There's no point in tallying the debts of the heart. I stopped keeping score a long time ago. And then it happened. A weight I didn't know I was carrying simply evaporated. For the first time in 3 agonizing years, he let her go. It wasn't an act of anger. It wasn't because the flame had burned out, not because he stopped loving her. That love is a permanent part of my DNA now. I let her go because I realized I couldn't hold on to her and hold on to myself at the same time. I finally chose myself. The sun is coming up over the Hudson. The city is waking up. And for the first time in a long time, I am waking up with it. Some paintings are meant to remain unfinished. And that is okay. I am okay. The canvas is blank again. The seasons have turned. The winter gray has given way to spring light. Months later, I find myself back in front of the easel. But this time, the subject has changed. I am not painting Claire. I am not painting the ghosts of the subway or the shadows of the gallery. For the first time, I am painting the man who survived them. I am painting myself. Flaws, lines, scars, and all. I am finally looking at the artist, not just the art. It took me a long time to understand the hunger, because sometimes we think we are chasing a person. We think we are missing a muse, but we're not. We're chasing the version of ourselves that felt complete beside them. We miss the reflection we saw in their eyes, forgetting we cast that reflection ourselves. I spent 3 years waiting. I spent 3 years chasing. And I realized something terrifying. Waiting and chasing shadows, yes, they are the same thing. They are both ways of refusing to be present. They are both ways of living in a time that does not exist. You chase until you stop. You wait until you move. The shadows only exist as long as you block the light, and they disappear the moment you decide to live.